Yo ho everybody and welcome to another edition of Yinzer on Hockey. So before we begin, make sure you go down below, hit that like button, hit the subscribe button, click that little bell so you stay up to date on all the off-season happenings. So right as I was getting ready to finish off my evening, head for bed, to be back up here in just a few hours to get ready for work, I get a notification on my phone of a finalized trade between the Montreal Canadiens and Arizona Coyotes. This is a player-for-player trade with the Arizona Coyotes sending left winger Max Domi to the Montreal Canadiens in exchange for center iceman Alex Galchenyuk. This is a player-for-player trade, but Max Domi is a restricted free agent, so this is merely the rights to his restricted free agent rights. So Montreal will have to work out a new contract with him and get him signed into the fold, which I'm certain is something that was discussed prior to finalizing the trade. Alex Galchenyuk still has about 2 years remaining on a $4.9 million salary. Yeah. So he's got 2 more years remaining on that deal. And Max Domi, as I said before, was a restricted free agent, previously making about a little over $900,000. Oh, nope, carried a cap hit of $1.4 million last year with all his bonuses and everything. I think he got a big bonus for making all 82 games. Stat-wise, these guys were pretty even on the stat sheets. It looks like Alex Galchenyuk, 19 goals, 32 assists for 51 points, and Max Domi with 9 goals, 36 assists for a total of 45 points. It had been expressed before that Alex Galchenyuk was not very happy in Montreal. Wanted to be traded at the deadline. They weren't able to work anything out there. Max Domi, there's been talks on and off, even as far back as the trade deadline, of whether or not Arizona was going to hold on to Max Domi due to his decline from his rookie season to his second season and third season. His numbers have steadily declined, and he wasn't able to really fulfill that top line, top six role that he was brought in to fill whenever they drafted him with the number 12 pick overall a couple of years ago. Galchenyuk was a number 3 pick in the 2012 draft for Montreal. So as far as like trade value goes, it's a pretty even trade. I don't see a winner or a loser here. Well, I mean, I would have to think that Montreal loses a little bit because they were already lacking at center ice, and this just kind of further increases that need for to add more punch to their center ice position. While Max Domi will give them additional scoring options from the wing, they still need to find at least 2 top-tier center icemen, depending on whether or not they bring Max Pacioretty back into the fold. He'll probably occupy one of the top 2 slots, but if Max Pacioretty does get dealt, then they're looking at pretty much entirely overhauling their entire center ice depth. As far as Arizona, bringing Galchenyuk in, giving him a fresh start outside of Montreal should be good for him. Center ice was also a position of need for Arizona, so that will help them bolster up that down the middle. They do lack a top 6 forward now. They do hold the number 5 or number 6 pick in this year's draft, I believe. And there's plenty of depth at the wing positions in this year's draft to be able to bolster that. As far as the center ice position in this year's draft, not as deep as years past. There is a couple of quality options in the top 10, and Montreal does hold the number 3 overall pick. And they've already kind of expressed interest in he's the Finnish forward. The name's escaping me right now, and I'll find that and get back to you. So we'll have to see, what they decide to do with that number 3 pick. Whether they're going to try to move that for additional assets to go after a big center iceman, or even try to entertain the idea of bringing in like a John Tavares or Paul Stastny, somebody like that in the into the system. Just very Kotkaniemi, the Finnish center iceman. That's the top prospect that name was escaping me, but he is definitely the top-rated center in this year's draft, and Montreal has expressed interest in trying to acquire him in the draft, but there was a lot of pundits believe that his value is more suited in like the 6 to 10 range, so they were wondering if they could try to move down, and I think that's why they made their intentions clear as to drafting him, is to see if they couldn't find somebody to move down and put them in a better value spot as far as drafting him goes. But if you look back a few years ago, a guy like Pierre-Luc Dubois was not supposed to go top 3 to Columbus, and he turned out to be a very good draft pick for them. So maybe drafting Kotkaniemi in the top 3 slot isn't that bad of a deal. He just needs maybe a year or two in the developmental system to get up to NHL standards of what a center iceman should be able to do. So let me know in the comments below who wins this trade for you guys. For me, it's a pretty even player-for-player swap, depending on the price tag that gets put on Max Domi, as far as what they think they're going to have to pay him as far as term and dollar value, how much they have to pay him as to how well this trade works out in the long run. But Montreal is able to shed a bit of cap in this move to free up for the pending free agent frenzy beginning on July 1st. So, yeah, let me know what you guys think. Who wins the trade? Is this the start of bigger trades to come with the draft less than a week away now? Can we start to see a little bit more movement? Maybe Montreal was one of those teams that was looking at possibly Mike Hoffman and stuff like that, and then the way everything shook out, maybe they decided to back off of that deal. You'll never really know what goes on in these phone calls between the general managers, but yeah, be sure to like and subscribe to the videos. I upload hockey content on a fairly regular basis. Trying to continue to grow and carry on more hockey conversation with you guys. Thanks for watching. Until next time. Later.